Hello, today we'll be talking about AI slash generative AI for beginners, and this is part four of the series. The first three parts can be found on my YouTube channel. When you go to the YouTube channel, head to the playlist section and the playlist is titled AI slash Gen AI for beginners. What will be learnt in today's video is firstly, what is data science? Then we'll learn about the difference between data scientists and AI engineers. Afterwards, we'll learn how to choose an AI project. Then we'll learn how to implement an AI project and how both data scientists implement it, and then we'll learn how AI engineers implement it. We'll then learn what prompt engineering is and talk about two techniques of prompt engineering, which is chain of thought prompting and self-refined prompting. These two techniques are not the only techniques of prompt engineering. Then we'll end it with a recap of all of the above. What is data science? Data science is the process of studying data to extract meaningful insights for various uses such as business use. It combines principles and practices from several fields such as mathematics, AI, and computer engineering. The following picture is an example of how data science can be used in a business setting. As we can see here, it features starting off with a website, and in the website we see several cups. The customer then clicks on the pink cup, adds it to the shopping cart, then pays for the checkout. Based off this data it's received, the AI can now draw an insight that the customer likes pink cups. Therefore it will start suggesting them more pink cups and more pink products in general, such as pink plates, pink cutlery, etc. The difference between data scientists and AI engineers. The difference between data scientists and AI engineers are the following. First is that data scientists mostly use traditional AI models, while AI engineers use generative AI models, which can include LLMs. And an LLM stands for a large language model. There are also use case differences, which are for data scientists, they focus on predicative use cases. This means that they use machine learning models and predictive analysis to turn data into insights. AI engineers focus on prescriptive slash generative use cases. This means that they use LLMs to build generative AI systems, such as chatbots, that help them to transform business processes. This is a diagram that shows predicative and prescriptive analytics. As we can see, predicative analytics focuses on forecasting potential future outcomes, while prescriptive analytics focus on giving recommendations for the next step. Predictive analytics is more long term than prescriptive analytics, as predicative analytics mainly focuses on not just the next step, but also the step after that, and so on. Meanwhile, prescriptive analytics may not necessarily always follow that. How to choose an AI project. An AI project is a project that involves the making and deploying of AI to solve a real world problem. AI projects are typically done by businesses for an AI and for an AI project to work, it needs two things. First, it needs AI knowledge and domain knowledge. What is domain knowledge? Domain knowledge is knowledge of the market as well as knowledge of what your business brings to that market. So, for example, it could be the movie market and your business is a movie recommendation business. This means that your domain experts have to have both knowledge on the market as well as movie recommendations. Then afterwards, you find some AI experts, and afterwards, you hold a series of meetings to determine what can AI do that is valuable to your business. For example, can AI automate any aspects of movie recommendations that humans don't necessarily need to watch over, e.g., recording the amount of movies or the genre of movies that certain customers are watching or like. And once such things have been established, from there the AI project is created. Implementing the project as data science versus AI engineer. So this is the data science workflow process for how to implement an AI project. First, they get the data required. And data scientists prefer to use structured data like tables over unstructured data which such as PDF files. Training the model. Data scientists will have a training phase after cleaning their data where they train the model, and for each use case, it requires a new form of data and a new training of another model. Their models have a narrow scope that targets only the use case. So in this case, it would mean that the data that the data scientists would get would only specifically be to movies and movie recommendations, how to properly recommend movies, and how to determine what a customer likes based off the movies they've watched. Then afterwards, they train their model on that data. AI engineers workflow process for AI projects. The data required. Unlike data scientists, AI engineers prefer to use unstructured data, such as PDF files, images, videos, and more, instead of using structured data such as tables. Training the model. When it comes to training the models, AI engineers do not have a model training phase like data scientists, as they rely on large language models. And unlike data scientists, each new data and each new use case does not require any change or lead to any change in the process. Large language models are also generalized to a large range of tasks, meaning they have a wider scope. AI engineers interact with these models using something known as prompt engineering, more of which will be covered on the next slide. What is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is the process of designing inputs for AI tools that will produce the optimal results. This is because even though generative AI attempts to mimic humans, it still requires human inputs. Now, this is a diagram of prompt engineering generally. So it features the prompt, which can be words, which in most cases takes the form of words, a question, or something similar. Then afterward, it shows the generated outputs of the language model. There are multiple techniques to prompting. This is one of them, which is known as chain of thought prompting. Chain of thought prompting is a technique that breaks down the complex prompt into smaller parts that are similar to a train of thought. This helps the AI to solve the problem and answer the prompt in a series of steps instead of delivering a direct answer that may be wrong. For example, as we can see here, this is a standard prompt where you give it the question, the answer, and after you give it the question that it should answer. And as you can see, as a result of the lack of how the answer was achieved, it's given us a wrong answer. Meanwhile, if we were to go to chain of thought prompting, we can see there that it's given us the answer, it's given us the question, it's given us the answer, and it also specified how it achieved that answer. Then it proceeded to ask the AI how to the question for it to answer. And as a result of the cleared upon answer, it's able to not only show us the steps but achieve the correct answer this time. Self-refined prompting. Self-refined prompting is where the model is prompted to solve the problem, critique its solution, then resolve the problem by taking into consideration the problem, solution, and critique. This is a general example of how an LLM refines itself. It generates the answer, you get feedback from it, and as a result, it then gives you the refined answer after you've asked it to critique itself and provide feedback. This is an example of self-refined prompting. Now I'm going to provide a demonstration of both chain of thought prompting and self-refined prompting. This is Poe, which is a website that houses various different chatbots that can be used to answer various queries. Here we're going to show it a basic chain of thought before we show it a more complex chain of thought and compare the answer. Now, this is the prompt. We're given it a math question, the correct answer to the question, but we did not expand upon how that answer was achieved. Now I've given it its own question to answer. Let's see the result. Now, this is the result of it after you've given it a basic answer without trying to expand upon it. Now, here is the prompt. While the difference is that not only has it given us the correct answer, I've also put in the steps for how that answer was achieved. Then I've asked it the question it should be answering. Now let's see the result it gives and compare the two to see if it's the exact same or if it's anything different. As you can see, it's given us our answer. Now, if we look at the steps, it's given us what's essentially the same. It's given us some less steps compared to the previous one, but explained these steps further. But overall, it's reached the correct answer to that step. Now, all of this that I've just shown is an example of chain of thought prompting, where it's given us the answer to our prompt in a sequence of steps, which allows us to follow its process of thinking. Now I'm about to demonstrate self-refine, a self-refine prompting. Now, as you can see here, this is what I've just pasted in is a prompt, and above the prompt it contains a review for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. Now, this is the prompt I wrote in at the bottom. Look at this review, summarize it, then to determine whether the review is good or bad on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being good and 1 being bad. Now, let's see the results it gives us. Alright, so the review itself is too large, so I'm going to shorten part. After fixing the prompt, this is the result that it's given us. It's given us the summary, and it's given us the rating and the reasoning. Now, for it to be a self-refined prompt, we then do this. Critique your response and point out any improvements. As you can see, this is the result. Now, if we were to go back to the slides, and this is after asking a different chatbot to review it. This is the first half of its review. It's given us a list. First, for the critique, it's given us a lack of specificity, how there was little comparative analysis and should be more detailed, as well as a more detailed critique overall. Now, if we were to go to the second half of the self-refine prompt, it's given us suggestions for improvements. Now, while this isn't necessarily a proper example of a self-refined prompt, this is generally how they're supposed to look. Now, for the recap of what we have learned today. What we've learned today is firstly what data science is, and data science is the process of extracting meaningful insights from data which can be used in areas like business. We've also learned what data science versus AI engineering is, and we've learned that some of the differences between data sciences and AI engineering is that data scientists focus on predicative use cases, while AI engineers focus on prescriptive use cases. And data scientists mainly use traditional models, whilst AI engineers do not. They use generative AI models. You've also learned the difference between predicative and prescriptive. That being predicative focuses long term, focus on potential future outcomes, whilst prescriptive mainly gives recommendations for the next few steps. You also Another difference is that data science uses mathematical concepts and other principles in order to draw insights. We've also learned about how to choose an AI project. This first requires AI knowledge and the domain knowledge, which is knowledge of the market and what your business brings to that market. We've also learned about how both AI engineering and data science and how each of those workflows are used in it. And data science mainly using structured data such as tables, and then cleaning the data, then proceeding to train the model on that data. And the difference between data science and AI engineering workflows is that the models created from data science workflows are narrower than the models that are made using AI engineering. We've also learned that AI engineering workflows that they do not have a train the model phase, as they mainly use large language models, and that AI engineers prefer unstructured data. We've also learned that AI engineers interact with large language models using prompt engineering. And inside prompt engineering, we learned what chain of thought prompting is, which is giving your prompt in a sequence of steps in order to make the large language model answer with a series of steps to help us better understand it. We then learned what self refined prompting is, which is the process of giving it a prompt, asking the large language model to critique itself, and then proceed to get it to re answer, taking into account what it's been critiqued on. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe for more.